Hello and welcome back to The Walk-In. Please subscribe and we'll get on with some news that has just happened this week, of course. It is the Super Injunction that's just been lifted in the UK. So this relates to a data breach that happened in 2022, I think early 2022. The MoD, the Ministry of Defence in the UK, inadvertently leaked personal information, including names, contact details and family information of approximately 18,800 Afghan nationals who had applied for relocation to the UK under the Afghan Relocations and Assistance Policy (ARAP) scheme. These individuals had worked with the British forces and were at risk of retaliation from the Taliban following the 2021 withdrawal of troops. The breach was caused by a British official at the MoD accidentally emailing a spreadsheet outside of authorised government systems. So they're supposed to use a secure system, and someone on a recipient list, we don't know who, outside of those systems received that email. And we ended up with a leak. So it included the applicants, their families, as well as British officials, security officials whose details were also exposed. And the breach came to public attention in August when some of the leaked data appeared on a Facebook page. This is August 2023. But it was quickly removed. So in September 23, then Defence Secretary Ben Wallace applied for a time-limited injunction to prevent media reporting on the breach, citing national security concerns and the need to protect those at risk from the Taliban. High Court Judge Mr Justice Knowles granted an unprecedented contra mundum against the world super injunction, which not only prohibited publication of the breach but also banned reporting on the existence of the injunction itself. So a lot of secrecy here, and this is the first time in these circumstances something like this has been applied. The MoD argued that public disclosure could alert the Taliban to the dataset, which would increase risk to those named. However, the super injunction created a scrutiny vacuum which prevented parliamentary oversight, public debate or media scrutiny, which critics argue undermines democratic accountability. So let us know what you think, and obviously do drop a subscribe. Let us know below what you think about this breach, and the implications being, as we'll discuss now, Operation Rubific. So in response to the breach, the UK government launched Operation Rubific, a covert operation to relocate affected Afghans to the UK. By July 25, approximately 7,000 individuals have been relocated, with about 18,500 in total, including dependents, families, etc. The operation cost around 400 to 800 million, which is still a big guess, even though earlier documents cited up to 7 billion. This was conducted in complete secrecy, with those relocated housed in MoD properties or hotels. The MoD believes 600 Afghan soldiers and 1,800 family members remained in Afghanistan, with relocation offers for them still honoured despite the scheme's closure in 25. So a lot of these people were probably contacted by email, told to not respond to the email, told to change their phone number, their email address, get rid of all those sort of digital tracks, and somehow were contacted by British, let's say, intelligence services or military in terms of getting them out covertly over a long period of time, maybe getting over the border to Pakistan, this kind of thing. So however the operation went about, it will probably remain classified at least for a number of years. So July 15th, just a few days ago, 2 days ago, Mr Justice Chamberlain lifted the super injunction after an MoD internal review led by Paul Rimmer concluded that Taliban likely already possessed the leaked data and public disclosure was unlikely to substantially increase risks. There's also the potential that the breach's impact may have been overstated, as the information had not spread as widely as feared. The lifting, a little strange given that the Taliban have the data, and this allowed obviously media outlets to report it, and that's how we can talk about it today. The decision followed 2 years of legal battles by journalists, including Holly Bancroft, and I believe Lewis Goodall, the news agents as well, was one of the early journalists involved in going to court over and over again over 2 years trying to fight this injunction. Now, obviously, this does raise some constitutional concerns. The inability of MPs to discuss the breach. I believe at one point the super injunction stopped ministers or even MoD officials contacting these people in Afghanistan. A lot of political reactions, obviously, in the UK. And another issue really is about legal precedent. So the case could set a precedent for government to use super injunctions, prompting calls for legal reforms to prevent their abuse in concealing blunders, which means in the future they can go, oh, we already did this for this thing. We've messed up here. Let's put an injunction on for the remainder of our parliament. Obviously, this covers two political parties. It happened under the Conservative Party, and the Labour Party have obviously still had this going on for over a year. Obviously has an effect on Afghans that helped out British forces that are in danger, has an effect on migration because now you have to import another 20,000 people almost. High cost. Yeah, I mean, even a range from 4 to 800 million is still pretty high. And critics say, yeah, okay, it's necessary to protect safety to a certain extent, but it also can be used to shield government failures. Again, this could be used in the future in a more kind of abusive way, abusive to the public trust, we should say. So, that's the news. We can now talk about this. There may be other injunctions related to this case. We don't know. So there certainly will be details that even when these details were released to journalists, there were other secret courts where even they weren't allowed in. I would imagine that even if there's a public inquiry, which there should be, they might not even have access to all the details. Probably sources and methods related, how they got them out, etc. But yeah, very interesting case, big news. And let us know what you think. Please remember to subscribe to The Walk-In and leave a comment below. And yeah, we'll see you soon. I always say that, but this time I probably mean it. Thank you very much. Goodbye.